Hey guys, it is day 8 of VEDA, and today I'm going to do my tag. So I'm going to do the throwback tag. I found it online, and I'm going to do some of the things and not do some of the things because since I'm not currently living at home, there are some options that I just can't do because I don't have any of the stuff. But I thought it would be fun to do. So the first question, what year were you born in? I was born in 1988, just barely made it. I was born on the 19th of December, so woohoo, 88. Um, so I'm gonna skip. The second question is, do you have any pictures of yourself when you're younger? I don't actually, because all of my pictures are currently at home. I mean, I could do younger like 3 years ago, but I don't think that's what they're looking for. So, what TV shows did you grow up watching? Well, cartoon-wise, I grew up watching, things like the X-Men animated series, which was awesome. I loved that. Doug, huge Doug fan. Hey Arnold. Clarissa Explains All. I think we all can agree, if you're a 90s kid, like Legends of the Hidden Temple, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Goosebumps, like those shows were good, and then you had like Saved by the Bell, Zach and Kelly, they were the quintessential couple growing up, and then you had the Wonder Years. So I grew up at a time when TV shows were great, and now they have weird things like Yo Gabba Gabba, and I've never even watched that, but I've just heard god awful stories about the shows that kids have today, and I truly feel really bad for them because we had a great childhood. We grew up in the 90s, late 80s, like, TV shows were good. So I guess that's what I grew up watching. What did you want to be when you grew up, and do you still want to be that? I honestly cannot. I guess I really wanted to be a teacher. My mom was a teacher, and a lot of people in my family are teachers, so I guess maybe that's what I wanted to do. But funny story, actually, because growing up, when we were in school, you had career day every year. And I can remember, like, throughout elementary school, I never actually made it through a whole day of career day. I'd always end up, like, sick. And it would either be one of those, like, I was completely sick and I wouldn't even go to school, or I'd go to school and I'd get sick during the career day. And I was always like, oh, I guess I'm never going to have a career because I can't make it through career day. But, I mean, I'd like to be a teacher one day. I think would be a lot of fun. I definitely would have to teach high school students. I love little kids, but I think I would want, I don't know, I just think I'd really like to teach high school. It would have to either be some type of English or history, maybe like a business class, I guess. But then I could be like a coach, so I would love if I taught high school to also be like a freshman JV basketball coach. I wouldn't want to be varsity, I don't want to be in charge, but I would love to do that. That would be really cool. I can't show you a video of when I was younger because I don't have one. Maybe one day I'll be able to do that, but not today. Favorite toys to play with? I played with Barbies. I'll just throw it out there. I'm a girl. It happened. I had an American Girl doll that I got when I was younger. I had Molly, and then I got, like, Little Bitty Baby, because those were so popular when I was little. And I remember, like, I didn't have one, and my cousins all had them. And then I got one, and I was like, oh my god, I got one! And then, of course, like, you just want every single little piece. So I've got, like, a box at home in Kentucky that has all of my American Girl doll and Bitty Babies, itty bitty whatever stuff in it. So, played with those. Played with Barbies. Played sports, so was outside with that kind of stuff. I don't really remember, like we had Lincoln Logs when we were little. Those were really cool. Everyone loved Lincoln Logs, so that's definitely a toy I played with. Most embarrassing thing that you can remember doing? I'm kind of a klutz, so I guess like everything I do is fairly embarrassing. Like, I don't know that there's that one moment going back on. I did have a nickname when I lived in Indiana that I absolutely hated, and so it was Blubber Baby. I honestly can't tell you how it came about. Don't really know that I want to know how it came about. That was my nickname, so I guess that's kind of like my embarrassing thing. Read something you wrote when you were in kindergarten. Again, something I can't do, but maybe the people that I'm going to tag could do it, so I'm just going to read the question out. 3 songs you love to listen to as a child. Ooh, that's a good one. My parents played a lot of, like, I was in the car a lot with my mom when I was little, going back and forth between Evansville and Paducah, to get haircuts and, like, see family. So I remember growing up listening to a lot of, like, Carole King, James Taylor, so, I guess that, I know those aren't specific songs, Frank Sinatra as well, so, like, Fly Me to the Moon, I don't know that I actually remember listening to that as a child, but I don't exactly remember a time when I didn't know the song, so I'm going to say that. Probably Elton John's Tiny Dancer. It's one of my all-time favorite songs, and I know that, like, I've just known that my entire life, so I'm going to go with that. Those are not really specific songs, some of them, so we'll go with that. What was one funny thing you dressed up as for Halloween when you were younger? When I was in preschool, so I went to preschool for the fall half of the year, and then we moved to Paducah, and I didn't go the spring half, but when I was in preschool, we did, like, this fall show, and I was a scarecrow, and I had the best scarecrow costume. I was adorable. I was the cutest scarecrow ever, so that was probably one of the funniest things I dressed up as. I mean, because it was different. Like, you don't really see a lot of girls going as scarecrows. Like, you know, I did the normal, like, went as a poodle girl, went as a princess, but the scarecrow was definitely probably one of my favorites. Tell a funny story of something you remember happening when you were young. I don't really, don't really have anything for that. I guess life in general was pretty funny, so there's not anything specific. I will tell you, there is a story that my parents love to tell, and it doesn't involve me, but I'm going to tell it anyways. When I have 2 older brothers, and when we lived in Indiana, they shared a room together, and they had bunk beds. Well, older than me, but younger than my oldest brother, Nick, slept on the bottom. So one day, I guess they've been taking naps, and Nathaniel comes down, and he's like, oh my God, someone stole Nick. My brother's been stolen, blah, blah, blah. And my parents say, like, he was really upset about this. Like, Nick was not in his bed. So they go up there, and sure enough, they're looking, and there's nobody there. There's no kid there. And, like, Nathaniel's like, oh my God, where is he? Like, acting like he cared, which he does, but, brothers get older, whatever. Anyways, I digress. So my parents say, like, finally they got everyone to quiet down enough, and they could hear Nick breathing. And apparently he had rolled off of the bed and was rolled up in the sheet in between the bed and the wall. So it really did look like someone had come in and stolen him, but he just rolled around. So that's a funny story. It doesn't really involve me, but I kind of like it. Are there any special things you've kept from when you were a child? I actually have 2 that I can show you right now. This locket I was given on my first birthday. It's a picture locket, and I don't actually, and have never had any pictures in it, but it was given to me by my parents, so this is really special to me. The other thing I have is my teddy bear. See? I know I'm a 25-year-old who has a teddy bear. But I was given my teddy bear when I was born. It's been with me my whole life through every bad thing I've had, every good thing that I've had. So those are the 2 kind of most important things to me. Kind of like if you were to ask somebody if there was a fire in the house, what was the first thing that you would grab? I'd probably grab my teddy bear first. Like, the most important thing. I can't live without it right now. So something weird you used to do as a child. I was a weird sleeper. And I don't know, I know not all kids are like this, because neither one of my brothers, like, you roll around and stuff, but there was one night, and I just remember, and I would do this a lot, like, I would end up waking up, and my head would be down at the foot of the bed, and my feet would be down at the head of my bed, and just be like, how did this happen? So I was a weird sleeper. Otherwise, I don't really know that I did anything weird as a child. Like, I think that's probably it. Scariest thing you remember that happened to you when you were younger? I don't really know that there was a lot of scary things that happened. I think there was one night, and it must have scared me at the time. We were living in Indiana, and my brothers and I lived upstairs, and my parents lived downstairs. And there must have been a thunderstorm or something going on. And I must have gotten up and been really terrified. So I decided, like, instead of trying to go downstairs, I was just going to go next door to my brother's room. And I must have walked in, and I don't know if, like, thunder struck or something struck, and it must have scared the living daylights out of me. So my brother's bunk beds are, like, they were wood frames, and I must have ran smack dab into the frame of it. And I must have, like, cut my nose. And I remember, my mom cannot remember the story to save her life, but I remember clear as day. She came up and she got me and she took me into our bathroom and she turned the light on, and all I remember is just seeing red. And it may not necessarily have, like, bled a lot, but in my head I was like, oh my god, like, this little kid, I was probably like 3 or 4, had to have been, like, freaking out. So that's probably the scariest thing, at least at the time. How is the world now different from how it was, like, when you were a child? Well, first of all, we didn't have all that damn technology when we were kids, so we actually played, and we played hard. I think maybe, I just feel like life was a lot more easygoing. Like, I feel like kids today, with all the technology, there's a lot more expectations for them, and they're expected to grow up faster because they have the ability to, but I feel like when we were kids, like, we were allowed to be kids. Like, you went outside and you played, and especially in the summer, like, you went to your friend's house and you were outside, and you were outside till the sun went down, and even, like, sometimes you were outside after that, you know, you were catching lightning bugs, you know, in mason jars and setting them free. Like, I really feel like kids today kind of get gypped, because I feel like with everything going on, they're expected to grow up faster, and I wish that we would get back to kind of more the basics of life, and, like, let them be kids. Like, let them run around, let them make mistakes, let them play in the mud. Like, it's not going to hurt them, it's not going to kill them. So, anyway, so that was my throwback tag. So I'm going to tag Kelly and Doug in it. And you know what? I'm going to tag Jamie. She is one of Kelly's friends, and we actually went to Chicago together. So I've met her, and I'm going to tag her because I know she's doing the videos too. So you guys have been tagged. Let's get some good stuff going on. So I will see you guys tomorrow for VEDA Day 9. Bye.